What are the worst new SUVs that you need to avoid buying? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Help Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. I'm going to share the worst new SUVs that you can buy that are poorly designed, unreliable, and overpriced that must be avoided at all costs. Based on major survey data from Consumer Reports, iSeeCars, CarEdge, and also my own experience road testing these vehicles for reviews. The worst of the worst list begins with the first SUV in the number 10 spot, which is the Kia Sorento. Now, the Sorento may appear to be a nicely designed, spacious, and feature-packed SUV, but it is also a fairly problematic one with a history of severe reliability issues. Like most Kia models with the GDI 4-cylinder engines, the older ones suffered from severe engine problems, and engine failures were quite common. The latest ones, however, are now more widely known for transmission failure, thanks to a highly complicated dual clutch transmission, or DCT, which Kia illogically has chosen to use on the non-hybrid models with the 2.5 turbo engine. It's an ongoing problem which even impacts the new generation Hyundai Santa Fe, which uses the same transmission. The poor reliability partly explains why the Sorento has one of the lowest owner satisfaction ratings according to Consumer Reports. So this is an SUV that should just be avoided. And for the next SUV in the number 9 spot, we have the Chevrolet Trailblazer. Now, the biggest issue with the Trailblazer is that the Chevy Trax exists, which is basically the same vehicle for a lower price. By comparison, the Trailblazer just looks overpriced. You are really not getting anything for the extra money that you spend. And in terms of quality and reliability, the Trailblazer doesn't really stand a chance against its much better competitors. It uses a tiny turbocharged 3-cylinder engine that is both overly complicated and overstressed, so long-term reliability and longevity of the engine will be a concern. And unlike the Trax, which has a conventional 6-speed automatic transmission, the Trailblazer uses a CVT, which is not very good. So bottom line, if you are leaning in the direction of a Chevy, the Trax is a better buy for less money, but you are really better off shopping elsewhere. The next SUVs that are in the number 8 and the number 7 spot are another 3-cylinder nightmare. And for here, I'm giving it a tie between the Ford Bronco Sport and Ford Escape. I'm putting these two together because they are mechanically identical SUVs. Most versions of the Escape and Bronco Sport come with a 3-cylinder turbocharged EcoBoost engine, another tiny, overstressed engine with a history of reliability issues, including complete engine failure. This is definitely one that is not designed to last for the long haul, and anyone who plans to keep one well beyond the warranty is taking a major risk. The 4-cylinder EcoBoost, available on the most expensive trims, is a bit better, but has its own reliability risks. Moreover, these SUVs are horribly overpriced and not worth the money, putting you at risk of owning a rapidly depreciating nightmare. Now, if you really like the Escape, the hybrid with its naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine is a far safer choice and not a bad SUV, but the rest of the lineup should absolutely be avoided. The next SUV that comes in the number 6 spot is a big one. Literally, it's the Volkswagen Atlas. Although the Atlas is a very spacious, practical SUV that appears family-friendly, it has a few very serious issues. Volkswagen's reliability is pretty spotty, and the Atlas is known for having serious problems with its electronics and turbo 4-cylinder engine. Moreover, Volkswagens are more expensive to repair than average, more comparable to that of a European luxury brand than one of its mainstream counterparts. So cost of ownership is surprisingly high, especially out of warranty. The worst variant of the Atlas, without a doubt, is the Cross Sport, which is basically just a smaller version of the regular Atlas without the third row of seats, but with the same high price, which probably explains why, among the other reasons mentioned, its owner satisfaction rating from Consumer Reports absolutely stinks. But the Atlas is not the only Volkswagen that I'm including on the worst SUVs list. In the number 5 spot, we also have the Volkswagen Taos. I've criticized this one before in other videos. The Taos is a truly terrible small SUV that has just about everything wrong with it. Noisy, uncomfortable, underpowered with a tiny 1.5 turbo engine that's a repair nightmare, extremely poor reliability, and poor owner satisfaction ratings, both among the lowest in the industry. You name a problem and the Taos probably has it. Even Volkswagen has somewhat admit the issues with the Taos, because for 2025, they've replaced the extremely problematic and jerky dual-clutch transmission that was used with a conventional 8-speed automatic. That's a step in the right direction, fixing one of its many issues, but sadly, it's nowhere near enough to make it worth recommending. And next up, in the number 4 spot, another very questionable SUV from a questionable brand, we have the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. The Eclipse Cross is another SUV with almost everything wrong with it. Uncomfortable, poor performance, dated technology, questionable longevity from its small 1.5 turbo engine, and Jatco CVT, the same one Nissan uses, and to top it off, a poor safety rating for its crash testing. Not to mention all the issues that come with it being a Mitsubishi, a tiny company here in North America that's really hanging on by a thread. With a small dealer network, poor customer service, and parts support. Buying one of these is asking for trouble, so stay away. And now getting into the top 3 worst SUVs that you can buy. In the number 3 spot, we have the Jeep Grand Cherokee. Perhaps this one should be on the worst luxury SUV list, but regardless, the Grand Cherokee is a poor choice for an SUV. Jeep build quality is now among the lowest in the industry, and the Grand Cherokee is one of the lowest ranked models. That's especially true in the case of the 4xe plug-in hybrid model, which has the most problematic variants of all. Not only is the reliability terrible, but Jeeps are incredibly overpriced. They depreciate rapidly, and the customer service absolutely stinks. They are just the perfect concoction of everything gone wrong. And even though Jeep dealers are absolutely desperate to unload them, offering massive discounts, they are still not worth the risk or the hassle. So naturally then, the next SUV that's in the number 2 spot has to be another Jeep, which is the Jeep Compass. No question, the Compass is easily one of the worst new vehicles one can buy in 2025. Everything mentioned about the Grand Cherokee applies here too. The poor reliability and build quality, wildly overpriced, awful resale value, not to mention that the Compass is just an underwhelming SUV with a lousy driving experience that feels like a half-baked effort, which it is. At least with a Wrangler, you're getting that classic Jeep feel, the heritage, good off-road ability, it's fun to drive and has good resale value. But as for the Compass, it's just an illusion with absolutely no substance. And I have no clue why anyone would consider buying one in 2025. And with that, that brings us to the number 1 worst SUV that you can buy for 2025. And that SUV is the Dodge Hornet. It is safe to say that the Hornet has been an utter failure for Dodge. Apparently, consumers are not interested in what's basically just a rebadged Alfa Romeo Tonale that's identical in almost every way, but with a Dodge badge. Who would have thought? I mean, what's not to like? A super cramped interior, cheap build quality, the questionable Alfa Romeo reliability, the ridiculously high pricing, and predictably poor resale value. It should come as no surprise that the Hornet is one of the slowest selling vehicles on the market, and hopefully its days are numbered. So there you have it. Let me know what you thought of these choices, and if there are any that I might have missed, or if you want to see a part 2 video with even more terrible SUVs that should be avoided. And if you want to see which SUVs are actually reliable and good to buy, or which are the worst luxury SUVs, I'll put links to those videos up in the corner. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also check out my other videos, or you can follow me on Instagram. And if you need any additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to visit carhelpcan.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.